At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth.
Oh, this is going to be juicy. We're going to be taking a look at the myth of the genius of Musk crashing and burning spectacularly.
It's hard to believe that entrepreneur Elon Musk was ever afraid of anything. Entrepreneur Elon Musk has spent his life proving people wrong.
I tried taking some computer classes, but I was way ahead of the teacher, so it didn't really help. So I started programming a space game called Blastar.
Max Chafkin is a technology and business journalist who has profiled Elon Musk several times.
At 12, he built a video game he called Blastar, which started his lifelong love of inventing things that already exist.
I really wanted to just kind of go where the really exciting breakthroughs were occurring.
Elon had this ability to look at the world and go, this is a real problem that's going to happen in 20 years.
Yeah, Musk, the serial reinventor of things that already exist. Like the tunnel. The underground wormhole.
I mean, you can think of these like wormholes. In like, oh, I need to get to the other side of LA or New York or whatever. Drop down the wormhole, pop out the other side.
We're talking about a man of such genius that he will get a round of applause merely for suggesting using wheels.
So I'd probably advocate wheels and
And the letter X, and the amazing ability to make it lose 2/3 of its value within a year.
We just revalued the company at less than half of the acquisition price.
Did you really?
That genius has invented a new form of transport, the Giga Train. And like all of Musk's unveilings, it comes with smoke machines and galaxy lights and dubstep, and it's in the dark. Kinda like they don't want you to notice. It's a train in a train station. What's more, I'm not even sure this was an extension of the Berlin metro system. But the Giga Train has amazing advantages. It's like the Hyperloop, but has the added advantage that you don't need a tube or vacuum pumps.
I really wanted to just kind of go where the really exciting breakthroughs were occurring.
And your train doesn't have to be airtight. It's like the high-speed point-to-point travel that whisks you around town at 150 miles an hour. But the amazing new Musk technology of the train, the Hyperpod, which is so much better than lots of little pods in that you can stick them all together and have one driver instead of lots of drivers.
Elon had this ability to look at the world and go, this is a real problem that's going to happen in 20 years.
And rather than using inefficient, polluting rubber on concrete, it goes for the efficient method of steel wheels on steel rails. But the Giga Train, going from the Giga factory where they make Giga electric cars, doesn't run on electricity. No third rails, overhead lines, that sort of thing. But diesel. Well, technically diesel electric, like a lot of trains. It's basically a diesel generator that you use to power electric motors. But make no bones about it, the train that goes to the electric car plant from the inventor of the Hyperloop and monorail is a diesel train. But with galaxy lights. Kind of like the tunnel, but with galaxy lights. Or a robot, but with galaxy lights. But Musk had big plans for the colourfully lit tunnel.
We're going to make bricks out of the dirt from the tunnel and then sell the bricks. The tunnel could actually pay for itself with just bricks. Like, a lot of these things are really quite elementary, but are not done.
And so here we are, some 5 years on. So either Musk casually thought of an idea that millions of engineers over centuries hadn't thought of, and tunneling will now be completely revolutionized.
Entrepreneur Elon Musk has spent his life proving people wrong.
But for now, they're working 24/7 to try to get these tunnels built super fast so that Elon can show the world we can build tunnels, we can build them faster than what most people build them for, and we can build them for 1/10 of what most people build them for.
Well, Musk is a bullshitting idiot hitting on peak Dunning-Kruger, and nothing will have changed.
At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth.
And nothing's changed. Who could have seen it coming? But tunnels with galaxy lights was just stage one of Musk's brilliant master plan to completely revolutionize transport.
We're about a loop, so we're trying to distinguish loop versus Hyperloop. Hyperloop would be where we draw a vacuum on the tunnel, have a pressurized pod, and go very fast. But it's really not that hard.
It still sounds pretty complicated, Elon.
It's like a tube with an air hockey table. It's really, I swear, it's not that hard. And so Hyperloop would connect to a loop, and you'd have a sort of smooth transition. Yeah.
Yes, a smooth transition between the non-existent and the dysfunctional.
Though I rather think it's all for naught. What happens when the non-existent bumps against the decrepit?
Yeah, and so we got I'm told this is like maybe the second biggest vacuum chamber in the world after the Large Hadron Collider. So it's kind of exciting.
Yes, it was super exciting back in 2017 when the man who's made a career of proving everyone else wrong opened a rusty tube that barely held a vacuum, offered no real practical advantages for the speed of travel, and of course, the media went wild.
Imagine going from New York to Washington, D.C. or L.A. to San Francisco in less than an hour in one of these giant vacuum tubes.
Oh, man, this is a heavy door. Okay, so what if I told you that there was a mode of transportation that not only promised to leave planes, trains, and automobiles all in the dust?
Because this is such a large chamber and it takes a lot of power and a lot of resources for us to pump it down.
And they used this rusty tube to host a Hyperloop competition.
Elon Musk decided to host a competition. He told the world, come up with Hyperloop designs and let the best design win.
And idiots from all over the world flocked to it because they just couldn't get enough of it.
And one of the wonderful events that Elon puts on at SpaceX and the Boring Company is a Hyperloop competition, which we do every year. And the first year, actually this is true, over 1,000 universities worldwide entered, which was amazing. And then we narrowed it down to 20, and then 20 came and actually competed at SpaceX. Fastest pod wins. And last year, a team won at 202 miles an hour. That's a student team building a pod in 9 months. So it shows the tech is very doable.
Our team alone, with just 27 members, represents 12 different countries. MIT's motto is mind in hand, and Hyperloop really puts the mind and hand work together.
But they had lots of university students working on it, because that's really where you go if you want to make progress. Well, that was 1,000 or so universities. Meanwhile, there was this weirdly skeptical YouTuber who was like, this is a dumb idea from 100 years ago.
What about is advancing the state of transportation, trying new things that have never been done before.
And a bullshit artist claiming that he's invented a dumb idea from 100 years ago will change nothing.
You got that from Vickers. Work in Essex County, page 98, right? Yeah, I read that too.
But it would be for a fifth mode of transports.
Were you going to plagiarize the whole thing for us? Do you have any thoughts of your own on this matter?
At one point, I really ran out of books and started reading the encyclopedia.
Name for it, which is called the Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop?
Hyperloop.
But is that your thing? You come into a bar, you read some obscure passage, and then pretend you pawn it off as your own idea just to impress some girls?
It's called the Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop?
Hyperloop. It's one I'm considering just open sourcing. Basically just describing the idea, saying this is what would be done, and if somebody wants to do it, then they can do it.
Meanwhile, 25 years ago, over 10 years before Elon Musk said this.
So I'm sort of debating it, but it would be for a fifth mode of transport. So right now we've got, of terrestrial transport, we've got planes, trains, automobiles, and boats. And what if there was a fifth mode? I have a name for it. Which is called the Hyperloop.
A new means of underground transport similar to a wheelless train.
The Hyperloop?
Hyperloop, yeah. From downtown LA to downtown San Francisco in under 30 minutes.
And to test it, they built the world's second largest vacuum chamber. Well, you'll be shocked to hear that's no longer the world's second largest vacuum chamber. In fact, I own vacuum chambers that are larger than Elon Musk's Hyperloop now. In that, first of all, it was cut in half to make way for a functioning form of transport. You know, what are they called? A train.
It's really, I swear it's not that hard.
And now it's not just been cut in half by a railway, but the rest of it's been taken off for scrap, such that the only thing that's left are these concrete blocks that the tube used to sit on. That's one way of levelling it. The poorly made concrete gravestones from the man who claimed he knew more about manufacturing than anyone alive on Earth, and who was heralded by Musk fans as a genius, the Nikola Tesla of our generation.
So the excitement of Hyperloop comes down to Elon Musk.
He's the idol of all engineers. I mean, like the ultimate nerd, geek, like what have you. He's Nikola Tesla of our day and age.
Elon had this ability to look at the world and go, this is a real problem that's going to happen in 20 years.
It seems like the people crying debunked are assuming that all of the scientists and engineers at SpaceX and all these universities haven't taken a grade 11 physics course.
Yeah, I think that's Elon Musk, the world's richest man. All those SpaceX engineers and 1,000 universities, 0. Some random guy on the internet, 1. And all those years of abuse that I took over this, that just make me feel kind of good.
And that's in a vacuum tunnel. So it's really just sort of refining the technology necessary for ultra high speed transport from city to city. And yeah, it's kind of fun. We can go faster than a jet. We can go faster than a jet. Like you don't really have.
Yeah, meanwhile, a decade or so on, Tesla is proudly boasting about how they can get 400 people in a hyperpod. What do they call them again? A train. If only they could implement this revolutionary idea of the train in the Vegas loop instead of those chauffeur-driven taxis. Sorry, the micropods that are currently used to shuttle people around in the Galaxy Light Lit system. But in the last days, they've unveiled an amazing new robot that can sort blocks.
You can notice that as soon as a block is inside the pickup area, the arm lowers down and picks it up. If the block is black, the arm will drop it inside this.
Oh, I'm sorry, I seem to have got my clips mixed up. That was a 7-year-old high school Arduino electronics project. Let's see what cutting-edge Musk technology can do, shall we? Now, I know what a lot of you will be thinking. What's the point of actually building a robot with 2 arms that can move around if all it's going to do is stand completely still and only use 1 arm? Yep, the entire video is basically a 1-arm robot sorting bricks. Meanwhile, 5 years ago,
advanced robotic arms and hands that can grip kitchen utensils, measure liquids, crack eggs, you name it, they can do it.
As Musk said, progress. But wait, doesn't it actually show the ability to kind of interact with the environment in a dynamic fashion? That's never been done before, like 6 years ago. Ha! A bipedal robot that can actually walk and use both arms. What an amazing concept. I wonder how long till Elon Musk invents that as well. But wait, their robot can also do amazing feats that no other robot could do. Like perform handstands and flips. Oh, sorry, there was just some random robotics project. Elon Musk's progress is so great that the Optimus robot can do something no other robot can do. It can slowly stand on 1 foot. Huh, I wonder what half-decade-old robotics could do. You know, maybe actually move both feet and have a sense of balance. So both Boston Dynamics and Tesla both released videos of what their robot could do this year. The Boston Dynamics much earlier in the year. And the Tesla bot's best effort is it can just about saw coloured blocks with one arm while standing still, whilst the Boston Dynamics can actually manipulate the environment, pick up erratic shaped objects, throw erratically shaped heavy objects, and rather than the impressive feat of standing on one foot, can do backflips. However, as deeply underwhelming as the progress of the Tesla bot here is, nothing even slightly new or impressive. My gut reaction is it's probably still all faked. We're talking the simple stuff like it's remarkably easy to get a robot to stand on one foot when its foot's welded to the floor or bolted or something. Where you would conspicuously never see it move its foot. Or, even if it is standing on one foot.
Using the sliders in the app, we can manually control the movement of each servo or axis of the robot arm.
Just programming up a dance routine isn't challenging.
Also, using the save button, we can record each position or step, and then the robot arm can automatically run and repeat these steps.
The thing that's different is the best Tesla can do in 2023 is execute command stand on one foot. Meanwhile, Boston Dynamics years ago And like I was saying, as deeply underwhelming as Elon's progress here is, I still don't believe a word of it, in that it's still far easier for them to say just fake this by, say, using some VR goggles and a remote-controlled robot. And again, even if they're doing that, what they've got here is deeply underwhelming, even compared to what was available 3 years ago. Although, admittedly, if they were doing that, you'd have thought they could have at least faked it such that it worked with both arms. I mean, this was from their last update video about 4 months ago. And they've progressed from it being able to use both hands to only being able to use one. Incidentally, I called bullshit on them for in that video having great big holes in the robots' heads, which were obviously used to clamp the robots because they fell over so often. And that was seen in basically every single shot in the video, including this shot where they've only just so freshly unclamped the robots that you can still see the hoists that they were attached to swinging in the background. This was literally, they've just unclamped the robots to get them to shuffle forwards a few feet in a straight line, in what was, in all likelihood, just engaging a shuffle forward routine.
Also, using the save button, we can record each position or step, and then the robot arm can automatically run and repeat these steps.
Not that different to what these robots did. Look, these things weren't cheap, but in terms of is there anything new here? No, nothing even remotely new. Oh, except Musk claims that the autopilot they use for the full self-driving on their cars, the ones that they've been promising will be fully functional this time next year, every year for a decade straight. And the car only has to decide if it's going faster or slower, left or right. That autopilot is now somehow going to become miraculously much more sophisticated and deal with a three-dimensional environment and be able to do much more complicated things. Yes, pay no attention to the leaked emails between Tesla and regulators that say it will never be full self-driving. And honestly, when the best you've got is, well, we wouldn't normally unclamp these things because they keep falling over. But Musk is desperate for some sort of promo video to show his amazing progress, so I guess we can unclamp them for a little bit and then execute Operation Senior Citizen Shuffle Forwards in a straight line on a level, unobstructed floor routine.
But what I can say is we're going to move to just truly massive scale. Scale that no company has ever achieved in the history of humanity.
Well, partially true, I guess.
This is a story about how I went from an avid Tesla fan to somebody who will never buy a Tesla again within 2 years of owning this Tesla Plaid.
If you buy a Tesla today, I believe you are buying an appreciating asset, not a depreciating asset.
But this is the worst depreciating car I have ever bought. This car depreciated harder than a 2020 Rolls-Royce Cullinan that I bought. A $500,000 car that's supposed to be the king of depreciation didn't depreciate as much as this Tesla Plaid.
Scale that no company has ever achieved in the history of humanity. Full self-driving. There's going to be a dedicated robotaxi.
Yeah, just to put this on a relative timeline, in 2017, Musk unveiled the new Roadster, which was going to be available by 2020, until 2020 when it became 2021. And in 2021, it was pushed back just a little bit further to 2022. Then in 2022, went back to 2023. And in 2023, it's now been pushed back to 2024. There isn't even a design for this dedicated robotaxi. Not even concept artwork. What you're about to hear is the entire evidence that this robotaxi exists.
That's going to look pretty it's going to look quite futuristic.
Yeah, let me guess, Elon. It's going to be like a regular taxi, but get this, with galaxy lights.
Then of course we've got the Tesla robot, Optimus. This is. I think Optimus will obviate what it even means, what an economy even means.
And so 2 years later, they can just about get an automaton to stand on one foot. Bravo.
So it'll be able to do, basically anything that humans don't want to do, Optimus will do it. And it's going to be an age of abundance.
No, absolutely, Elon. Optimus will be as revolutionary for robotics as the Hyperloop was for transportation.
And so I think it's maybe hard to imagine it, but as you see Optimus develop, and we're obviously going to make sure it's safe. No Terminator stuff or that kind of thing.
Oh, we don't want a Terminator, says Elon. Good idea, sir. What should we use for its actuators? Oh, I know. Let's film one of its actuators lifting a half-ton piano. That'll convince people it's not going to be a Terminator.
Oh! God. It's got a hell of a grip.
It's 400 foot-pounds.
And we're obviously going to make sure it's safe. No Terminator stuff or that kind of thing.
It's 400 foot-pounds. He could crush every bone in your hand.
All right, attach it to his shoulder.
And then we've got and I think we have a shot at being in production for version 1 of Optimus hopefully next year.
And so here we are, basically a couple of months away from the end of next year, as Musk put it. And thus far, the robot can walk slowly in a straight line on a flat level floor with no obstacles. And sort of kit robot stuff put together by students. And for those who missed the obvious comparison to the Hyperloop,
that's a student team building a pod in 9 months. So it shows the tech is very doable. That's a student team building a pod in 9 months.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the seasoned robotics talent they have on stage there.
That's a student team building a pod in 9 months. So it shows the tech is very doable.
And the Hyperloop is now officially scrap metal. But according to Elon, I know more about manufacturing than anyone alive on Earth. This thing should just about be going into production. Now, some people other than myself are pretty skeptical about this, saying the whole thing looks like computer-generated graphics, and those are sites that have historically been pretty friendly to Elon Musk. And for certain, in some places they're certainly right, like, say, for instance, here, where you can see that the plant parts cast nice shadows, yet mysteriously, the robot doesn't cast any shadow at all. Kind of like the whole thing's just a digital overlay, and there's no robot in the room whatsoever. That is, this would be a completely fake shot. Me? I don't believe it for simpler reasons than that. Because it's genuinely an outlier if Musk ever tells the actual truth in one of these releases. You know, like over 10 years ago when they said they could do a battery swap twice as fast as it would take you to fill up a car.
But what this is about is it's convincing the people that are skeptics. There's some people that just, they take a lot of convincing. And so what we really want to show here is that you can actually be more convenient than a gasoline car. We just did 2 Model S's in the time that it took to fill up. And we honestly did try to make the gas tank, the gas station stop go as fast as...
I mean, just let the sheer shamelessness of this lie sink in. That years later, in reality, battery swaps are done manually by people and take half an hour plus. But Musk is claiming that no, we did it versus the fastest gas station we could find to give it the best chance. And still we ended up doing 2 fake battery swaps in less time than it took to fill up a car.
As it could. It only took just about 4 minutes at the gas station, but it took 90 seconds for a pack swap. So hopefully this is what convinces people finally that electric cars are the future.
They unveiled completely fake solar roof tiles.
So we're going to show you, this is the before shot of that house over there. So that's what it looked like before. Now that's all solar.
That they said would change the world, which were, how shall I put this, unsurprisingly totally fake. Then of course there was the totally fake full self-driving video, where Musk later said he expected it to be able to drive coast to coast on its own without any controls being touched for the entire journey. Not that it would just do all the driving, but all the charging would be automated as well.
Yeah, essentially November or December of this year, we should be able to go from, all the way from a parking lot in California to a parking lot in New York, no controls touched at any point during the entire journey.
Amazing. Meanwhile, half a decade later, it struggles to make it across the car lot. Or their fake full self-driving convoy truck that would beat rail on day 1.
One truck, a Tesla truck considered by itself, beats other diesel trucks.
With full autopilot that would be safer than a human now.
The convoy technology, the tracking technology, this is something that we are confident we can do today 10 times safer than a human driver. So I want to be clear, this is something we can do now. What this means is it's not just economic suicide to use one diesel truck, it's economic suicide for rail. This beats rail. And that's I think really quite profound. We're confident that this is a product that is better in every way from a feature standpoint, that wins on economics against diesel trucks in a worst case scenario, and that defeats rail in a convoy scenario.
Which again, half a decade on, doesn't exist. And they've in total only made some 30 or so trucks. And they keep the specs a closely guarded secret, which is not something you do if it works like you claim it does. Or the latest faked robot videos, all claiming that the Cybertruck was finally in production. Except there doesn't seem to be any evidence that anything has come off the production line, let alone handed over to customers. So yeah, the real question isn't why do you think it's fake? It's why would any sane man believe a word this man says? This isn't fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. For the Musk fans, this is fool me 264 times, shame on me, but maybe fool me 265 times, maybe this time he's telling the truth. And for those who haven't spotted it yet, the glowing neon sign saying that Elon Musk is lying is whenever he says, I expect, he's lying. I feel strongly that he's lying. I feel confident that he's lying. I think there's a very good chance that this year he's lying. In fact, whenever he expresses an opinion, he's lying. And he must be conscious of this, because on the very rare occasions that he actually wants to say that he's telling the truth, he actually has to stress that he's not lying to people.
Yeah, there was like no fast moves here. Nope. So to be clear, it's not like, what tricks did they pull? There actually a whole bunch of tricks we could have pulled and didn't. Like as Dan said, like no special aero treatment.
Now, don't be fooled, there are still hordes of Musk fanboys out there, but the myth of Musk is slowly dying. Odd thing for me is, though, that despite my best efforts for the last decade or so highlighting the stupidity of ideas like the Hyperloop or paying for tunnels by selling bricks or the chasm between what he promises and what he delivers. You know, just for a quick reminder, in 2016-ish, that sort of thing, Musk claimed that he wasn't just going to land humans on Mars in 2024, that's in a few months now, but he was going to send 2 starships full of people to Mars. And for pointing out these obvious facts, that got me labelled as a hater. However, the self-destruction of Musk is inevitable and has become far more visible more recently with the utter clown show after him first buying, then trashing Twitter. The myth that Musk tried so hard to push from the beginning was of the esoteric boy genius who was destined for greatness, who was years ahead of his teacher, even at school. And when he was bullied, just went and read the encyclopedia.
At one point, I really ran out of books and started reading the encyclopedia.
And he has a photographic memory, so he could remember everything.
He was such a genius that he was off the scale of what IBM could measure.
When Elon was 10 years old, he got tested by IBM, and he was found to have one of the highest aptitudes they'd ever seen for computer programming.
Yeah, totally. Because IBM is so in the business of testing 10-year-olds for their computing ability. Yeah, but in adulthood, it turns out the pure genius of Elon Musk seems to be limited to putting galaxy lights on things that already exist. And that's today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a thumbs up on it. Maybe consider subscribing. And if you really like the work of this channel, you can support it directly through Patreon. And thanks for watching.